talked to him about this during the Australian summer actually, when he was playing with the Sydney Thunder. We had a bit of a chat out in the middle at Bellerive Oval about all that sort of stuff.
Oh, good shot.
And the chant goes up for Joe Root's 50.
For me, it's 100% just got to be a mental hurdle that he can't quite get over.
And he certainly needs to bat for a long time today.
Oh, he's out! Beautiful leg, drift into the front part of Joe Root, and the 50's finished.
The more you start thinking about little things like that, the harder they become as well, the harder they are to put them out of your mind. You know, now I'm sure every time he gets to 50 now, the next 50 runs he scores will probably be the hardest runs he ever scores, when it should be the other way around. Your first 50 should be the hardest. But like I said, if he keeps putting himself in that situation enough where he gets to that 50 mark, it won't be long before he starts turning them into hundreds. Tried to tell Joe all the wrong things actually. I tried to tell him what he thought was right, but I knew was wrong, see if he can make some mistakes in the Ashes. No, look, it's first time an English captain's done it. Well, I've had numerous conversations with other players that have played a lot against around the world, like a Raul Dravid or Jacques Kallis, Sachin, these sort of guys. You know, players like that, I think that are sort of all trying to find the answer, if you like, or a little solution to things, especially when you've had a lot of success. Trying to maintain it, I guess, is probably a lot of the chats that I've had with some of those other senior guys. It's a tough one. It's the same when you talk about Steve Smith. Should he bat at 3 for Australia as well? You know, I think right through the history of the game, teams have always said that your best batsman should bat at number 3. You know, it is pretty much a specialist spot. I'd be tempted if I was them to lock Joe Root into number 3. He's obviously coming off a good World Cup as well. Looks like he's in really good control of his game, so now might be the best time. The bottom line, they'll be thinking about what's best for their team. Their middle order's very strong, they bat very deep. That's one thing they don't need to worry about, but they need to shore up the top order.
That's in the air, this will be out. Nathan Lyon won't drop that. Well bowled, Pat Cummins.
Well, he's never really got on top of us in Australia, has he? And that's unusual because you think he's probably been batting on better wickets in Australia than he has out here. And the ball's obviously moved more out here. So that just says to me we probably haven't bowled as well to him in England as we probably have in Australia, or the plans that we've been trying to execute haven't been executed well enough here in England.
Oh, hello, LBW, is it?
I honestly think the boys will have a pretty set plan on how they're going to bowl to him this series. I think they had some really clear plans in Australia last time. Most of them worked, and it wasn't until really late in the series where he started to even look at home or look comfortable. He sort of looked uncomfortable right the way through that last series, I thought, in Australia. So I think that the planning and the plans to him will be quite simple. I think a lot of the time with players like that, and like Virat as well, sometimes the more you attack them, the easier it becomes for them. If you can just stick to a pretty solid, simple game plan, more often than not, they'll come to you. Oh, I think so, definitely. I mean, Starkey got him out that exact way at Lords in the World Cup game as well, where three or four balls was all it took, dragged him across, and then one that just shaped back down the line and trapped him right in front. And he knows that. Joe will know. He'll know that that's how the Aussies are going to come after him, because I think probably every team in world cricket does the same thing to him. I don't know how he interpreted what I had to say there, but that was more about how some of the messaging he was giving after the games, after a day's play, saying, "Oh, you know, we're really close. We know we're playing really good cricket. We're just," when they weren't. I just thought he was sort of probably not owning it enough as a captain. So that's what I sort of meant by that. But look, to be honest, it's hard for any of us to make judgments on captains from what you see tactically on the field, because I've been there and I know that you can say one thing to a bowler or a group and quite often it doesn't come off. I'm still a big believer in most of the captaincy stuff's done behind closed doors and around the group and bringing the group together, and other than the test loss they had to the West Indies, they've been pretty good for a long time, England.